Hey, I'm Kelly Hogan. Welcome back to my Zero Carb Life. So sometimes I come on here and I share experiments that I've tried. Sometimes I have pages of notes of a topic I've been researching, or I have guests lined up to talk. And today, none of those things have happened. I was walking on my little treadmill walking pad about 5 minutes ago, and I thought, I don't think I've told YouTube about this or this little thing or this little thing. So let's just have a little candid chat. And the first thing I want to tell you about is eyelashes. Now, I am going to bring this back around to Carnivore. I really will. But for right now, I want to tell you that for the last several years, when my 10-year-old was still a baby, I started wearing fake lashes, sometimes magnets, sometimes glue on. So for most, all but maybe the last 2 or 3 videos on this entire channel, I had on fake lashes. Now, if you're thinking I should have told you before now, I did. I've said it many times on Instagram, and I think I've talked about it on YouTube too years ago. And then I didn't keep talking about it because they were my lashes and it didn't really seem to apply to anything I was talking about here. But today it does. So let's go back several months to this past June. I was in Chicago for the Chicago meetup, which I'm going to again this June. I will link to the information below. My friend Karen is hosting it again. It was a great time. While I was there, one of the assistant coaches that works in my groups, Kathy, I was talking to Kathy and we were outside and I was looking at her lashes. Oh my word, they were so long and thick. Now, Kathy is in her 70s. And I thought, I can't even tell that those are glued on. And I said, Kathy, your lashes look so good. Do you mind me asking, are those your lashes? And she said, yeah, these are natural. These are my lashes. Oh, I was shook. I said, Kathy, you have some of the best lashes I've ever seen. And she said, well, there's this product. It's an eyelash serum. And she said it completely transformed her lashes. So I said, girl, send me the link. It was on Amazon. So my plan in that moment was to order it as soon as I got back home and to start using it. Well, when I got home, I looked at the link and I did some reading, and it said, do not expect any changes or results for at least 4 weeks, but typically 6 weeks. And I read the reviews, and the reviews were really good, but it said, seriously, nothing is going to change for the first 6 weeks. Don't even look. Do not expect it. And I thought, 6 weeks? That's a long time to be putting on lash serum and paying for this product for nothing. So I didn't order it. And get this, the 6 weeks passed anyway. And after many weeks, more than 6, I remembered how great her lashes looked. And I thought, man, if I had just started all those weeks ago. So then I actually ordered it, and it came and it laid unopened. Yes, I'll link to it below, but listen to me. The point of this story is not that you should use lash serum. In fact, if you look at the ingredients and decide, oh, those are toxic, I shouldn't be using it, don't even bother telling me because I do not care. Don't use it then. Just don't use it. It's not the point of this story. Before you go click on the link, the point of the story is, even after I ordered it, it just sat there because, again, I looked and it says in 4 to 6 weeks. And I thought, oh, it's just so long. I don't even want to bother getting started. Months passed. The box just sat there. And then finally one day, I was so tired of gluing on my lashes. See, the problem with glue on lashes is once you start, then when you peel them off, it takes some of your natural lashes with them. So then you're basically bald-eyed and it looks worse than ever. And so then you feel like you're trapped into using these fake lashes forever. And that's where I was. In order to put it on, I felt like I needed to take the lashes off. It was just a whole thing. It was a whole situation. But one day I finally decided I'm going to use it. We'll see what happens. So I started putting it on and nothing happened. A week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, and I thought, just stop. Don't even look. People said, do not even bother investigating. Don't bother, nitpicking to see, did anything change? for 4 to 6 weeks. Well, after about a month, I started to look and I thought, nope, they look exactly the same. This was maybe a waste of money, except that I had some hope in my heart because I remembered Kathy and I could see her on Zoom. I see her in 8 Zoom calls a week and I could see her lashes looked amazing. Okay, so every day I kept putting it on. Nothing was changing. And around the 6-week mark, sure enough, they started looking a little thicker, a little longer. I got excited. So then I'm really like, okay, now I'm putting it on with a smile on my face, right? Again, the point of this story is not to sell this product. Point of this story is this. I know that in my life, there have been times like this one where I would think, oh, I know what to do. Oh, but it's going to take so long to see the results. So why bother? And then the time would pass either way. So what is it that we're putting off today? I'll tell you what I put off for a long time, and that was lifting weights. Because I had heard it's going to take at least 12 solid weeks of consistency for you to see anything. Who has that kind of time? That's the thing. The time is going to pass either way. In 12 weeks, 12 weeks will have passed. Either you're going to have 12 weeks behind you of lifting weights, or the 6 weeks behind you of the lashes, or you say, gosh, it could take 6 months to see anything better with my skin with Carnivore, or for my gut to get better with Carnivore. The 6 months is going to pass. It's just that in 6 months, you'll either be just getting started because you didn't do it yet, or you will have gotten somewhere by then. And so I stuck with the lash thing, and I'm happy to report that these are just my natural lashes. I now, when somebody asks, gosh, your lashes look good, what kind of, are those glue on? No, these are just my lashes because I just stuck to the thing. And I had somebody the other day say, hey, your arms look good. This was a Walmart checkout person. Your arms look good. You working out somewhere? Where do you go? And I said, thank you so much for being the first person to notice. Yes, I am lifting. I have been lifting now for well over a year, twice every week. And it took this long for somebody to say, gosh, your arms are looking good. Thank you. But the year would have passed either way. So let's just get started is what I'm saying. Don't let the time be a deterrent. And yes, I will link to the serum below. Use it or don't. But I'm here to tell you, I'm pretty happy with these lashes. Okay, the second random thing that I just thought of to tell you was my family went on a cruise recently. If you are with me on Instagram or my private groups, you already know all about it. I promise I'm not going to talk too much about the actual cruise. Well, we went with Royal Caribbean. The food was amazing. They'll bring you as many New York strips cooked in nothing but butter as you want. I felt great. I ate great. The only things I ate on the entire trip are the exact same things that I eat here at my house every day / every week. New York strips, burger patties, which are 100% beef. I had no reaction from the burger patties. I've cruised with them before. I know that those patties and New York strips are a win for me. Hard-boiled eggs, poached eggs. I brought my own butter just in case, but they had real butter. I had the package. It was completely real butter. And then one more food. Oh, I had heavy cream, which I have heavy cream here at my house. And I saw the carton. It was actual heavy cream, not half and half or milk. The only thing I added to my diet on the entire cruise that I don't eat all the time was some goat cheese. The reason I added goat cheese, I wouldn't have just ordered it, but my kids would order like they have a dessert plate, which is a cheese plate. So you could either order, a sweet dessert, which we don't eat in our family. Okay, sometimes my husband does, but not the kids and I. They have on their dessert menu every single night a fruit and cheese plate, which comes with, a little handful of grapes and several different cheeses, including goat cheese. Well, my kids loved the grapes. They loved all of the other cheeses, but the goat cheese was very strong. So they would pass on their goat cheese to me. Each kid had about a tablespoon of goat cheese. And so every single night, I ate their 3 tablespoons of goat cheese. And over the course of that cruise, I gained 5 pounds, a little more than 5 pounds. Why am I telling you this? First of all, goat cheese is delicious. I would love to have it every single day of my life. I would love all of the cheddar, Parmesan, Swiss. I just love cheese. And I know I've said this here before, but for me, I can either have weight management. So for me now, that just means maintain my weight. But when I was losing weight, when I had weight I was still trying or needing to lose, I could either have weight loss or cheese. You got to pick one or the other because I cannot have both. And even with, I have low insulin, my insulin runs around 1.2, my A1C runs 4.6. I am healthy. I have triglycerides way lower than my HDL. Everything is good. Even as a healthy, long-time carnivore. And I know that there are other long-time carnivores who can eat cheese and not gain weight. I just am here to tell you, I'm not one of them. I may never be one of them. I can put on 5 pounds from goat cheese. Not even a lot of goat cheese. So in case you needed to hear today, you are not the only one who gains weight when you eat cheese. And if you watch other influencers who can eat all the cheese they want all the time, that's great. And if you're one of those people, that is wonderful. Keep doing it. I'm not anti-cheese. I wish it worked for me. It doesn't. So came home. I'm still eating the New York strips, burger patties, heavy cream, and eggs. That's the staple of my life all the time. Those 4 foods. I took out the goat cheese and the 5 pounds came back off. Ta-da! All right, the next topic. I saw a post made the other day on Facebook by a guy that I would say is an online friend. I have never met the person. He's never been in one of my groups, but I've just seen him on various carnivore groups. I'm only going to use his first name. And in fact, I better just change it to John. John. Okay. But this is a true story, real life here. That's the only detail I'm going to change. John. This guy for the last several years has been doing carnivore, except he will get weeks under his belt. And then he's back in the ditch. And then he'll post on Facebook. He posts almost every day. So you know if things are going well. Also, he deals with bipolar disorder. He is very open about that. And whether he's manic or depressive depends a lot on his diet. And he comes in and out of how he talks about religion. So when his diet is on point, he is eating carnivore, he tends to be so excited to talk about Jesus, so excited to talk about God's word, and he seems happy and healthy. He loses weight. And then just when you think, he's got it this time, John, he's got it. Then he might get quiet for a day or two, and next thing you know, he is back on his Facebook page, completely back into sugar, talking very sacrilegious, anti-religion, putting down Christians. It's stark, okay? It's not just like a little this way or that way. It's like dealing with 2 totally different people. And when he does fall back into the sugar, he'll say the addiction took back over. My addiction got me again. And this is what I had to say to him this week. John, once you choose to take that first bite, taste, sip, whatever it is, of something sweet, then the addiction has a chance to get its grip on you again. Then that lizard brain, the voice of addiction and self-sabotage, the reward center of our brain that starts screaming and throwing dopamine our way, that's when that happens. But when he is off of the substance, and this applies to hard drugs, alcohol, and yes, sugar, when he is off of his drug of choice, it is not addiction that gets him. It is a decision, a choice that he makes that always starts with, I just had one bite. I thought I could handle it this time. That, when he is off of the sugar and he chooses to put something sweet into his mouth, that is a decision. That is not addiction. He is not an addict at that moment. And I know it depends on how you define it. Like once an addict, always an addict. But what I'm saying is addiction didn't have a grip on him in that moment. That was all John. That first bite is a choice. Now, what happens after that taste? The sweet hits his tongue, brain lights up again, right? The reward center starts throwing dopamine his way, and he's like, it feels like after that point, he doesn't have a choice. Now, technically, yeah, we all have a choice, right? He could stop at any time. But it's going to be so much harder. By then, yeah, addiction has a grip on you again. You've released it. You've released the beast. Now it's a real problem. Now we're talking, it is going to take more than a simple, oh, no, thanks. I've quit. Realizing that the easiest it is ever going to be to say no or stop or get off of it is before you reintroduce it. If you are off of something right now and you say, you know what? The grip has released. I'm feeling good. And then you get back on it. That started with a conscious choice that then led to sort of a subconscious, a mental takeover, right? I've probably said similar things to that before, but I feel like it's been a while. So there's a reminder. Okay, the next kind of random thing I want to talk about. What number is this? Maybe 4. Talked eyelashes. Talked about John and the addiction. Talked goat cheese. Okay, I want to know carnivores on this channel. Now, look, if you just happen to show up here today, you might be very confused. This is not my typical video. I didn't even start by saying, hey, I'm a carnivore. I eat only animal products. I've done that for over 16 years. My whole health turned around. I was sick. I was miserable. I was obese. And now I'm not. Okay, there. But for right now, I want to ask the carnivores here a question. Do any of you take creatine? I know that the world's best source of creatine, it's red meat. It's beef. Eat some beef. In fact, if you are eating 2 to 3 pounds of beef, you probably have zero need for creatine in addition to what you are eating. But I'm just curious, in the comments, have you tried taking non-beef creatine? Just creatine, like creatine monohydrate. One ingredient is what most people who say I'm taking creatine take. A lot of people start with half of a scoop, which is 2.5 milligrams. They work their way up to 5 milligrams. Some people have worked up. I saw where Nisha Berry is taking 10 milligrams. I know that Dr. Boz has been all about the creatine here recently. So I just want to know, have you tried it? Do you like it? Now, I started trying it several months ago, and I want to tell you why. Okay, I kept hearing that in especially postmenopausal women or perimenopausal women, that when that sort of that brain fog is kicking in, that creatine can help get rid of some brain fog. Well, I'm 47 and I'm still regular every month, but I was starting to notice a little bit of brain fogginess occasionally. I thought, ooh, I hate that. I used to be that way so badly before carnivore. So I took note. Okay, maybe creatine someday. I don't think I'm there yet, but maybe someday. And I had heard it could help with joint pain. I heard it could help preserve muscle, help people put on muscle mass, especially if they're weight training. So all of those things sounded good, but I wasn't feeling in need enough to try. But I have a mom. My mom is not working out. I know my mom, like every single adult on this planet, we all want to hang on to lean mass. It's very important. And my mom had said occasionally she'd be like, oh, I can't remember. And she had sort of alluded that she was occasionally feeling forgetful. And I said, well, you know me too once in a while, because maybe it's a perimenopause thing. I don't know. And my dad had also said, yeah, once in a while it is hard to come up with a word. And I thought, well, that's pretty normal. But my mom has achy joints. That was the main thing. My mom has had arthritis and has talked about being diagnosed with arthritis since I was quite young. And, that has not gotten better. Should also mention my mom is not a carnivore. She does try to watch her carbs and sugars, but she's not on a carnivore or ketogenic diet. So about a year and a half ago, I sent her a canister of creatine monohydrate. And I thought there is there's 0% chance that she is going to actually try this because my mom does not like to take anything, not a Tylenol, not a supplement. She believes in none of it. She believes in nothing but the Lord and his word. I'm here to tell you, she is a skeptic. All right. About, almost a year had passed. And I was at their house and I saw my mom putting a scoop of something into her water. Now, I had never once asked her if she had tried the creatine. I didn't ask her if it arrived, if she opened it, if she tried it, if she liked it. Nothing. I just assumed that was probably a waste of $25. And she said, well, it's that stuff you gave me. And she turned it around and it was creatine, but it was a different brand. And I said, oh, she goes, well, it's the same exact thing. It's creatine, whatever, monohydrate. And I said, yes. I said, what happened to the one I gave you? She said, I used it. Oh, oh my word. You did? She's like, yes, Kelly. I said, well, I'm speechless. Did you like it? She said, well, yes, if I even miss a day or two, I can tell my joints start hurting again. I could not believe it. So she really did think that it was helping with some word recall. She felt a little sharper, that her joints felt better. She's not lifting weights. I don't think she would be even thinking about muscle mass or anything. Just that wasn't why she was taking it. It was really the joints. Well, I already had a canister at my house I had never even opened. I'd sort of been influenced by watching, I don't know, Huberman, Boz, Nisha, different people. I just hadn't actually tried it. It sat there on my shelf a long time, just like this eyelash stuff. I went home after that visit with my mom, immediately started using it. I started with half a scoop, went up to 5 milligrams, couldn't tell much, upped it a little bit more, went to 10 milligrams per day. And I thought, I can actually I just feel a little sharper. Cool. Now, nothing on me was hurting. My inflammation level stayed about 0.4, which is fantastic. Nothing hurts. But I did feel a little bit of my edge come back, and that was awesome. So today, I am not here recommending that you go out and buy eyelash serum. I am not recommending that you go out and buy creatine. I'm just sort of surveying the crowd. I've already talked to my groups about this. There are some people there that said it made them kind of gassy, gave them gastric issues. I will say that seems to get better if people use it in cold beverage, not hot beverage. Hot beverages tend to give people bloating with the creatine. That's all I want to know. Tell me what you think about creatine. Pause the video if you need to. Next, very random topic. Our family got a pet gecko. I got it from my brother. My brother and his family have had it for, I think, a couple of years. For various reasons, they no longer wanted or needed to have a leopard gecko. So we got it. I think he is beautiful. I would have never gone out and purchased a leopard gecko. I have a couple of dogs, a couple of hamsters, a few kids. The place is pretty much, the inn is full. No more room at this inn. But he was cute. So we took him in. When I did a Google search on how to care for a gecko, I found an adult gecko should eat about 2 insects every other day. They are total carnivores. They just eat insects. A couple of times per week, you need to give them a calcium supplement and some vitamin D. They need fresh water, plenty of fresh water every single day. The insects that are given should be varied. So you don't want to always give mealworms or always give crickets or always give roaches. You want to give them a variety of insects, okay? Because the variety is good for them. They get a different macro. It literally talked about their fat and protein macros from different insects, that they need a variety, some that are higher protein, some that are higher fat. Okay, cool. They need 10 to 12 hours of UV light every day. So we've got this big UV light that came with the gecko that my brother gave us. It needs to be on 10 to 12 hours per day. It is good for them to get some physical contact, but not held excessively. If you start to notice any signs of stress, whether through their behavior or if they start to have some skin irregularities, or if they just start acting, jerky, like they don't enjoy being held, give them space. They need space. They need contact. They need water. They need a nice varied carnivore diet. And they need sunshine. They also need the UV light for 12 hours, but they need total darkness also for 12 hours, 10 to 12 hours of each. And I thought, my word, I think more thought and care went into this article on the care of a leopard gecko than most people have ever given them their own selves, or possibly even their children. Do we make sure that we and our children get 10 to 12 hours of light, whether through a window or we even step outside more than 2 minutes per day, or that we crack the windows in our car so we get some natural light and fresh air? Do we give ourselves total darkness for 10 to 12 hours per night? Do we make sure we drink plenty of water, that we get contact and also have plenty of time if we feel stressed to just decompress and to be alone? Amazing. Are we making sure that we get our macros where they need to be? Somebody gave more thought to the care of a leopard gecko than I think most people are giving our own selves. And I see that with people and their dogs and their cats also. They would absolutely fuss, yell if somebody were to give their dog a bag of Cheetos, right? Or Doritos or whatever junk, a bag of Halloween candy. And yet, ourselves or the kids, we wouldn't think twice. I don't know. I think my new goal is to care for myself at least as well as I am caring for this leopard gecko. Okay, is that random enough for you? We've got eyelashes, geckos, goat cheese, a guy named John talking about addiction and not making the choice to reintroduce things that you were addicted to, and creatine. I said it'd be random, so there we are. Okay, these are not the 5 things that necessarily changed my life. What really made the biggest impact on my health was cutting out processed foods, sugar, and then realizing after 5 years of eating almost nothing but meat that I actually felt my very best when I cut out the last of the plants. Eating this way changed my life. Another thing that made a big impact on me when it came to my weight and losing/keeping off 130 pounds has been walking after meals. I started walking as soon as my doctor told me many years ago to cut out carbs. He also had said, being a little more active as you feel better is a good idea. So I started walking only after dinner. That was my big thing, was I would walk after dinner. And I couldn't walk far because my health wasn't good and my weight was very high, but it did make an impact. So changing my diet, walking, getting sleep has been very helpful, but I've pretty much always been a good sleeper. Getting some sunlight, I think, is very helpful to people, including myself. Just taking little sky breaks, getting true darkness at night, some light during the day, doing some breath work to make sure that we're calm, prayer time, journal time, Bible time, slow breathing, some time outside to help de-stress. These are the basics of what will probably change your life. It's probably not going to be creatine, eyelash serum, and a gecko. Another thing that has made a big difference for me is having people to talk to who get it. Some of you in the comments, you get it, and I appreciate that. I also have 8 groups of carnivores, and I meet with them every week, and we celebrate together, we troubleshoot together, I answer their questions, I teach lessons. I also have coaches. Once people have heard that lesson from me and they want to go learn something new, I have assistant coaches who teach side lessons and have community share time that's sort of like a little meetup every single week. It makes a lot of difference for people. Just having some tools. I have a 260 something clickable handbook that is yours to download and keep forever, even if you only join me for 1 month. There is a TDEE, Total Daily Energy Expenditure Carnivore Calculator, to help you figure out if you're eating enough or too much or just right. That is yours to use for the month of coaching. I have tools and I have people and I have a great desire to help people feel better. So if you need some accountability, some tools, some people support, come join us. You can do it for either a single month or there are people who have been in the group for years. And if you don't need the extra support right now and coming here on Saturdays is enough for you, well, thank you for joining me. I hope to see you back next week. It'll probably be a little less random than this. Okay, see y'all soon. Bye.